offers solutions that will benefit humanity. Let's look at our stories for today. In Edo State, bitter ex-husband allegedly sets former wife's home ablaze. In Imo State, Catholic priest allegedly shoots boy over knockouts. 2025 prophecy: Marine kingdom injecting strange women into the world. Olukoya says, honor killing, man mother sisters over safety fears. We are open for advert placements, news and event coverage, personality, society and political interviews, product, service promotions, and also commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlantictelevisionnetwork.tv. Today we have a very special guest, and we'll dive into that when we come back. Welcome back. Today in the studio we have a very special guest. His name is Mr. Chukwu C. Ikechukwu, a public affairs analyst. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for gracing our show. Thank you very much.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, sir. Best wishes, sir. So we have some very interesting stories. We'll start with that of the bitter ex-husband allegedly sets former wife's home ablaze. Shocking vengeance unfolded in the early hours of New Year's Day when a bitter ex-husband allegedly set ablaze the home of 55-year-old Tina Uyi, an Italy-based businesswoman. The harrowing incident occurred in Idum 1 Winner near Oluku of their northeast local government area of Edo State. Tina, who had returned to Nigeria just a day earlier, was awakened by a loud menacing bang on her windows. Peering into the darkness, she discovered her ex-husband, Osaro Ahunwa, furiously demanding entry into her home. Sources revealed Tina firmly refused him access, citing their separation and the return of the bride price as far back as April 2024. Enraged, Osaro allegedly issued a chilling threat to burn down the apartment with everyone inside. Despite Tina's desperate pleas, Osaro reportedly shattered her windows, drenched the apartment in petrol, and set it ablaze. The fire quickly consumed the building, leaving Tina and her elderly parents trapped inside of it. Neighbors acting swiftly rescued Tina's non-Nigerian parents from the flames, but the inferno destroyed the apartment. Tina reportedly lost a significant sum of money in naira and foreign currencies, along with packages from Italy intended for her loved ones in Nigeria. Firefighters from the Edo State Fire Service battled the blaze, eventually extinguishing it after it had caused extensive damage. In a shocking twist, police arrested Osaru alongside Tina's older brother, Odaru Oviarobo. Reports indicate that Osaru confessed that Odaru had provided him with detailed information about Tina's return to Nigeria. Edo State Police Public Relations Officer CSP Moses Yamu confirmed the incident, stating investigations are ongoing to uncover the full extent of the conspiracy. Now, I really don't know what to say about this story, sir, because I mean, the story says that the man is her ex-husband, so that means they are no longer together. But then, why do you think he would go ahead to burn down the woman's house, even with people inside the house?
Vengeance, bitter loser, aggrieved. Maybe I dare say satanic, because I mean, yeah, whatever grievance he had against her, maybe he felt he was not properly treated. There are means of resolving the issues other than taking laws into your own hands. Yes. There is the customary system, the traditional system. There's even the customary court system. There's of course the the modern court system, which he would have
Yes.
employed any of these conventional approaches to resolving issues. I mean, and looking at what has happened, what he did, one is forced to feel like, or to even boldly say that it was only good that the marriage was dissolved, have been issue. A man who could do this obviously is a violent man, and who knows how the marriage went before it was dissolved. Then to the brother who allegedly provided information, that also tells a lot about the people we have around us, our loved ones. At times you're forced to say so-called loved ones. They may unwittingly give out information that could hurt them. But in this case, if the guy truly gave out information, you cannot say it's really unwittingly. Being a member of the family, knowing that these two people are apart, have been separated, no matter what you feel for the guy, no matter how you feel, even if you feel that he was badly treated, for crying out loud, they are separated. You need not provide him unnecessary information, especially realizing, I'm sure from the discussion, he would have probably realized from his tune that he was still aggrieved and is capable of doing harm. So, like the story says, there is a level of conspiracy there, and we only wish that justice be served to whoever would have
the thing I find interesting is the fact that the woman's brother gave out the information to
absolutely.
the ex-husband. Now, does that not go a long way to tell us probably the woman's character? Because first of all, what could she possibly have done to the husband? Why are they apart? And then why would her brother also give out information to someone who...
You see, it's like I mentioned that just some minutes ago, that no matter what the grievance is against the lady, maybe by the brother, knowing that they have separated, maybe having an idea that the ex-husband could be violent, he has no justification, no moral justification to have provided information, knowing that it could be used. For crying out loud, this is their home. And if he's truly a biological brother, that means the nonagenarian parents are also his parents. Would he have wanted his 90-something years old parents to have died in such a gruesome way? So he is not justified that he provided the guy with information. Maybe he did it under the influence of just maybe whatever it is. Like I said, it shows that we have to be careful. Those around us, even our so-called loved ones, what information we make available to them, because you never can tell how they will use it. Obviously, in this case, now, if truly he was the one that diverted the information on, the guy said detailed whereabouts, or the news said he provided detailed whereabouts, probably he left out nothing new. And I mean, that's unfair to the lady.
Exactly, but one is also forced to think that he probably didn't do that to hurt the lady. It's just possible the ex-husband called and asked. Is it not possible that the ex-husband rather just called and then asked, and then he gave out that information, not knowing the intent of the intentions of the man?
Yes, it's possible he meant no harm, but again, that raises the question of the place of common sense. There should only be a limit to what information you give out concerning a person, especially when you know the party asking the question or demanding the information has a grouse, has a bone to grind with the person. Come on, you can't just give out information to an ex-husband concerning an ex-wife. To what common sense should have prompted you to ask, what does he need this information for? Since they are separated, why does he need detailed information about the ex-wife? Any information he needed about her would just be to enable them maybe process or prosecute a legal. But since from what the lady said and that has been done, if there was still any grounds, it would have still been to go back to the court or whatever system they used to dissolve the marriage, whether it's traditional means, but to provide information that would possibly lead to hurting the lady under whatever guise is a no.
But in a situation where this brother of hers, let's assume he pleads guilty, do you think he would be granted such in court? Especially if, just like I mentioned, if he comes out and says, okay, it was not my intention to give out this information to hurt my sister, I was only asked and then I gave out the information, owing to the fact that this man has already stated that he's an accomplice or he is a part of the whole story, do you think he will be granted that this thing?
Well, I am not the court, and until the matter goes to the court and they say whatever we do here will be an academic exercise. But if he, in the event he pleads guilty, he will be punished or set free according to what the law says. If he is found culpable of conspiracy to do harm in spite of pleading guilty, he probably has some price to pay, in spite of the fact that the person involved is the sister. You know, of course, there may be begging to tamper justice with clemency, but that may not completely exonerate him if it gets to.
So now this woman's house has been burnt to a large extent. I don't know if it's totally burnt down, but I know it has been burnt to a large extent. Her money...
There was an attempted murder, which is the top of the whole.
So even if this ex-husband is... of course, he's going to serve jail terms and all of that. But what happens to the house and the money and everything that has gone? What do you think would be done? Is there a possibility of him repaying this woman this money? Or does he just go to court and then just the woman continues suffering?
The thing is that, does he have the capacity to repay? And depending on what is brought before the court cannot on its own just decide. Depending on if the case goes to court, what will be brought before the court. If the lady involved or the family are asking for a damage, the court look at it, they may probably grant that. So it all depends on what comes before the court. The court is not a busybody that will just decide that, oh, you have done this damage. So it depends on what they bring before the court. But definitely, if they bring this, if they ask for damage, there is a good chance, depending on who plead their case, that he may be asked to do some payment. But does he have the capacity to pay?
This story now takes me back to a lot of things I get to see on social media. You see cases where a man, in some cases, helps a young lady, trains her in school, and oftentimes send them abroad. And then you see these people come back and then tell you they are no longer interested in the marriage. I don't know if that's the case of this man. They are no longer interested in the marriage. Maybe the girl is done with school. She tells you she has found somebody else just because you're not as learned as she is. She's no longer interested in the marriage. Or she has gone outside, traveled outside the country, and then she's back and then she thinks she now knows better and she's no longer interested in the marriage. What do you make of this story where people always, women do this? If you were the man in, let's assume that's the story of this man. If you were the man in this situation, what will you do? Lick
your wound and learn your lesson. You see, when you were doing the sponsoring, was there a stated agreement? If there was an agreement, then you can present the agreement as a legal tender. But if it was just a gentleman, like they say, in war and love, all is fair, you know. Before you embark on giving a scholarship to a lady, was it purely, what was the contract? Was there a contractual agreement? If there was no contractual agreement, it was just based on romance. In my own thinking, if the love affairs go south from either side, I mean, that's part of the sacrifice you have made in love. It could be hurtful. I don't pretend that it doesn't hurt, but I think people should learn how far they can go in a relationship, especially for, you know, just whatever you do in a romantic relation, just be sure you are ready to let it go if things goes wrong. Because, I mean, no matter how aggrieved you are, you can only use the legal system and the legal means if such matter is justiciable. If it's not something that can be entertained by the court, there is really nothing you can do. And if you take laws into your hands, the offender will become, or the offended rather will become the offender. Yeah, you were offended, but I don't know, it's just not something anybody should find himself doing. Be in love all you want to do, but have your common sense with you, know how far you want to go. And I also believe that while sponsoring somebody in school, if you keep developing yourself while offering the scholarship, the chances of the person leaving you because you are no longer up to that status may not arise. But if you just remain where you are and keep pushing, then that person, and at times too, I mean, everybody wants to grow. At times I may not completely blame the person who says, oh, you are no longer in my you are no longer in the same class with me, but you should also remember that that guy helped you to get to that class. So it's something, it's just a moral question that both parties need to weigh carefully before you delve into providing the scholarship, as I would want to.
Okay, thank you very much for your contributions on that. So the next story we have here is in Imo State, where a Catholic priest allegedly shoots boy over knockouts during the New Year Mass on January 1st, 2025, in Amaimo Ikeduru local government area of Imo State. Tragedy struck when a Catholic priest allegedly shot and killed a boy who had set off fireworks within the church premises. Eyewitness accounts shared via the Facebook handle for the Love of Anambra claimed the priest, whose identity remains undisclosed, reacted by picking up a firearm and fatally shooting the boy. The shocking event has left the community in grief and sparked widespread outrage on social media, with residents calling for a thorough investigation. I beg your pardon. The Imo State Police Command spokesperson, Henry Okoye, confirmed the incident and stated that an investigation is underway to uncover the facts. We have launched a detailed investigation to ascertain the remote facts surrounding the incident. Further developments will be communicated in due course, Okoye said. Social media platforms have been flooded with reactions. On Facebook, user Malakai Chukwu Yirugo commented. He said he will spend the rest of his life in prison. Another user, Lin Chai, expressed disbelief, saying the fact that a reverend father owns a gun is somehow. Peace, Ijoma added, it's disheartening to see how religious bigots are defending the priests. May we try to be lovers of God and not lovers of the men of God in this 2025. Rest in peace to the boy. Rest in peace to the boy. On X, formerly Twitter, users shared varied perspectives. A tweet blog chief remarked, I thought this happens in the USA. How can this happen in Imo? Men. Another user, Rise Above Hearts, speculated that maybe he has been abducted before by gunmen, so he felt the men are back. Only God knows what he was thinking. The incident has raised concerns about the possession of firearms by religious leaders and the circumstances leading to the priest's action. As the investigation unfolds, the community continues to grapple with the tragedy, demanding accountability and justice for the deceased. Oh. A father having a gun and killing someone. What do you make of this story, sir?
Well, if you consider the state of insecurity and the rate of kidnapping and killing that has happened around Catholic priests around the country, you may not completely fault the Catholic priest for having a gun. But the question is the gun licensed? Is he licensed to possess a gun? Then another question that would come to my mind is, perhaps, has there been a pre-warning to the community people and the congregants against the use of fireworks? No, not firearms, fireworks, knockouts, as you would call it, within the church premises. Because obviously, throwing knockout into not just the church or any gathering of people may be a little bit of a mischievous intent, you know. And like the person, somebody pointed out there, if the priest has been previously adopted, or maybe somebody close to him has been kidnapped and he was set free, whether kidnap or abduction, it's possible that if that is the case, there may still be a post-trauma depression and all that. But even if that has not happened, has not been adopted, given the insecurity around town, that may account for why he has a gun. However, having said that, the law will now take its case, since there is a case of fatality. If the gun is not licensed, then he is in a big trouble.
Well, I want to believe that this, in fact, the story states clearly that this was done on Christmas Eve. So New Year Eve. So this is a period, I mean, that should be a period rather where people, it's known, it's obvious in Nigeria that during those times people throw fireworks.
But not into the church,
and all
not
of
into
that.
the church premises.
You know, this thing is not something that, let me not say it, if you can stay and then throw it and then it sparks into different spots.
You decide where you want to throw it.
But
if I look at the direction of this place and throw it in here, there is no technology or magic that will swerve it away from here and go behind me.
But irrespective of what the case might have been, I don't think, I don't know, do you think the Reverend Father in this case had had any right whatsoever to shoot at? I mean, you came out and then you saw that this person is not abductors like you assumed.
We are not there whether he shot before realizing they are abductors or whether he even aimed at the boy. Maybe it was a sporadic action or not. But the question that would likely determine his fate is if his arms are licensed and if he was licensed to hold arms. If he wasn't licensed to hold arms, then that's going to be a big problem for him. But if he was licensed, maybe other matters can come. But as for the death of the guy, nothing justifies the death of a person. And this also brings to mind another thing. Parents should caution their children. You know, yeah, it's of course the festive period has come to an end now. Maybe that should be for subsequent time. Yeah, you want to, you know, have fun with your firework, but don't be mischievous with it. We see a whole lot of people throwing it to, you know, especially when you see elderly women, you know it will frighten them. You know they can even be injured. Why are you throwing it at them? Throw it into the air. Throw it in an open space. Don't throw it at people. You don't derive your pleasure at the expense of some other person feeling hurt. I mean, yeah, I want to have fun, but at what cost? I can't have fun at your cost.
Okay.
Yeah, because in the process of running, somebody can be injured, and some of those people may sustain a life injury. You never can tell the state of health of it. So yes, you want to have fun, but please be careful. Don't throw it into the crowd. Any crowd at that. It doesn't have to be a church. I mean, saying that it's a church, you should even give them some reverence. Even if you're not a part of them, allow them do their things. You do your own things.
On the issue of if whether the gun is licensed or not, generally, do you think it's okay for reverend fathers to own a gun, licensed or not licensed? I mean, we want to believe that, okay, we know that our protection comes from God Almighty. Is there a need for them to have?
It's a moral question. Wisdom is profitable to direct. Like I said, what has happened? There has been a whole lot of insecurity, especially around Catholic priests over the country. In the north, many Catholic priests has been kidnapped. Some died in the process. I even just at the turn of the day, this new year, a pastor, a bishop was said to have been stabbed in Osun State or something. You know, he was. Maybe if he had some form of protection around him, talking of physical protection, probably he would have been alive and not dead. So the issue of whether it is justifiable for priests and maybe other clergy to carry gun is a moral question. The most important thing we should be concerned about, not their carrying gun, is how they use those guns. If you carry arm, are you licensed to carry the arm? Do you have the mental capacity to deal with that other issues of the morality side of it and the spiritual side of it should be a question between them, the God they serve, and perhaps the congregation.
But as a reverend father, why not rather have security than having a gun? What impression does he give the congregation?
Maybe the gun is part of his security.
I mean, having as a member of the church, I know that my pastor has a gun for protection. And I mean, what impression do you think it would give the members of the church when he has obviously preached over time that protection comes from God? I'm just saying, don't you think security should come from?
Holding a gun does not deny the fact that protection comes from God, and you and I cannot. I have not been a member of his congregation, so I don't even know what he has been preaching. So it will be fair to sit here and assume that he has preached to his congregation that protection comes from God. I don't know about that. It's just a general belief that we believe that general, but specifically in respect to him, I don't know what he has told his congregation. So that is for the congregants to decide that, oh, this man knows that protection comes from God, went about carrying arm. As for me, I didn't hear any such from him, so I can't judge him on an assumption. But on a general note, I don't think it's just a moral question whether priests and other clergy should bear arms in self-defense. Then if we say they don't, if we go that, maybe we should just say, should they is it right for them to self-defend themselves? That is a moral question. In a system where insecurity reigns and most of them has fallen victims, I won't completely say it's wrong, but the question should be, such arms, are they licensed? And then do they have, for each particular priest or whoever you're licensed to bear arm, does he have the mental capacity to use such arm? Can he use it in a responsible way? And then for greater good, I think the society should think of providing security for everybody, because if there's security for everybody, not just a set of persons, the issue of bearing arms would be drastically reduced. At least individuals bearing arms would be drastically reduced.
Okay, thank you very much for your contributions on that story, sir. So the next we have is 2025 prophecy, Marine Kingdom injecting strange women into the world. General Overseer of the Mountain of Fire and Miracles Ministry, MFM, Dr. Daniel Kolawole Olukoya, has issued a stern warning to promiscuous men, urging them to shun adultery, as agents of the Marine Kingdom have allegedly been dispatched into in the form of women to ensnare souls. Speaking at the church's interdenominational crossover and prosperity nights at Prayer City, Lagos Ibadan Motorway, Olukoya stressed the importance of spiritual vigilance, calling on believers to pray for their spiritual eyes to be opened and to connect with God's power through targeted prayers. The ultimate solution to live the year 2025 successfully is to connect to God's power. You must know God personally and intimately this year and ensure your spiritual eyes are open to see things from God's perspective. The way God is seeing it, he said, you must have God's power to conquer strong enemies this year, because the only thing enemies respect is God's power. On the activities of the marine world, Olukoya warned that it is also a year of tragedy for married men who like going around with strange women. The marine world has injected into our midst women who are not women, who are from another world. If you are a man and fond of going all over the place, you may just disappear, so you have to be very careful. Describing 2025 as a year of strange battles, Olukoya predicted that the wicked would seek to oppress the righteous and turmoil would abound. You cannot afford to be ignorant this year. Also, you need targeted prayers according to the Bible, the Word of God, this year, because 2025 is a year of strange battle where the crooked want to attack the straight, a year where the oppressed will fight the free, a year where the empty want to empty the full, and where the thief wants to fight the owner, he said. However, he assured the congregation of divine intervention, declaring this year that God will scatter the plans of the enemies with divine interruption. For us in MFM, this is our year of power and undeniable victories. Olukoya also foretold significant breakthroughs for those seeking marital blessings and the fruit of the womb, as well as a global emergence of transformative leadership. Calling 2025 a year of restoration, he urged believers to anchor their lives in God to survive economic, political, and weather-related challenges. More prayers are needed to tackle strange economic and political turbulence, massive weather turbulence like floods, all kinds of weather disturbances, he warned. He concluded with a message of hope for Nigeria and the world, stating that there is greater hope for Nigeria and nations of the world in this new era, because God will raise transformative leaders all over the world. Believers were encouraged to embrace targeted prayers and divine guidance to navigate the year's complexities and experience restoration in every aspect of their lives. So I just want to ask a simple question. Why is it that whenever it comes to the issue of people being possessed and all of those marine stories, why is it always on the part of the women? Because the story states clearly that he has warned that women, a lot of...
he didn't say people will be possessed. He said rather there will be a release of marine women that are not women from the married world. What that probably suggests that there is a manufacturing or creation of women in the marine world. Fortunately or unfortunately, I've not been to the marine world wherever that is, so yes. I can't tell for sure whether they have a factory, where they manufacture. But how did this make it to the news? I want to ask you guys. And of all the things he said, why the focus on marine spirit and strange women, whatever that strange women mean? And anyway, I think the warning to members of his congregation, it wasn't. When clergymen talk, most of the times I want to believe that I'm somebody who is likely to believe, programmed to believe that whatever a clergy is dishing out, good or bad, is primarily for members of his congregation. So I really don't bother myself much about what they say, especially when I'm not a member of that, except where they outrightly say things that seems to encompass the whole society. You know, like maybe you say things like, oh, maybe there will be flood in Nigeria and all that. That has to do. But if you give this one in like this now, members, what again do you expect? A clergy would always warn me, especially if a Christian clergy would always warn his members against adultery and all that. But here he's talking about strange women. I don't know what he means by strange women, so I don't want to talk much into that and the marine.
Okay, because I just imagine that based on the happenings in the society, I mean, we should get messages more focused on safety, like you mentioned, aside all those marine something, and probably economic growth. I mean, things related to the entire nation.
If he delves too much into political and economic, people will still come after him and say, oh, he's getting into politics and all that.
Okay.
He delves into economic. People would want to ask, what does he know about economic and all that? So I think it is safe ground for clergy to just say, like, you know, he said, oh, God will provide restorative leaders, you know. And of course, I completely agree with him on the need to stay away from ignorance and all that. I would have agreed with him on the issue of not, you know, married men staying to their wife, but he restricted the danger to strange women. I don't know what strange women mean. Does it mean that if you commit adultery with a non-woman, you are good? The only danger is with a strange woman that may possibly be from the marine kingdom. I don't know.
Okay, so I think he's now on the issue of married men, because the story focuses more on married men having affairs, sexual affairs with strange women, like the story says. I don't know, but what do you think causes this? I've heard a lot of times that people say that a married man will always cheat. In fact, men particularly will always cheat.
Is it what causes married men to cheat, or what causes married men to cheat with strange women?
No, what causes men to cheat? Because it's now like a norm where people say a man can never stay with one.
It is not a norm, depending on who you have been meeting and dealing with. I know a whole lot of married men who
majority
of them. What is your statistic of saying majority? Just that the bad news always have a way of flying. Now, I'm not trying to dispute you, but I can't boldly say it is a majority. Just like I said, the bad news have a way of flying. Well, so there could be various reasons why people do what they do. Some could be their background. Maybe they have been raised in such a way not to stay. They are not disciplined and all that. It has nothing to do with the woman they are dealing with. I mean, their wife, whether she is good or whatever. It's just the indiscipline on their own part. Some, it could be a result of skirmish in the home. Maybe there is a fault line in the home which has not been properly managed, that pushed them out. So it could be various factors. I think you look at each individual case as a single case, not generally as collective. Of course, there may be a general thing. They say, oh, men are always promiscuous, which may not necessarily account for why each of the people going outside go out. It could just be depending on individual cases. So it depends on who you're dealing with.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So we'll move to the last question, the last story rather. Man allegedly murders his mother, sisters, and over safety fears. New Year's Eve in Lucknow, India, turned out tragic as a 24-year-old man named Ashad reportedly murdered his mother, Asma, and 4 younger sisters, Aliyah, Alshia, Aksa, and Ramin, in what is suspected to be an honor killing. The bodies were found in a blood-soaked hotel room, and Ashad allegedly confessed to the crime, recording a video where he explained his actions. He claimed he killed his family to protect them from neighbors who he said planned to sell his sisters in Hyderabad. Ashad also implicated his father, Badar, as an accomplice, though he remains at large. The police arrested Ashad after the bodies were discovered and are investigating the incident. Forensic teams have noted injury marks on some of the victims. Authorities are working to piece together the events leading up to the tragedy, interviewing witnesses and hotel staff. Forensic teams are examining the scene for evidence while the police investigates the events leading to the tragedy. Joint Commissioner for Police Bablu Koma revealed that the family checked into the hotel on December 30th. The hotel staff said they had come here on December 30th and their brother and father were also there. The matter is being further investigated, Kuma said, adding that some of the bodies showed injury marks. Regarding the bodies recovered, some show signs of injuries on the wrist of one, on the neck of another. Based on these marks, statements from witnesses, and the post-mortem report, we are concluding a detailed investigation to the matter, he continued. Authorities are piecing together the details, interviewing hotel staff and nearby witnesses, while Ashad remains in custody. I don't know what could have transpired between these people, but the story says that the man and the son did this, basically the son rather, because he's the main person here, and his father did this to protect the wife and his sisters. So I don't know, what do you make of this story, sir? Do you think, is there any, I don't know how they operate in India, I don't know how...
India is one of the regions in the world where women suffer a whole lot from cases of rape, gang rape, and all manner of abuse. Then this crazy thing they call honor killing, it's sort of part of the Hindu Indian culture here.
What was this honor killing?
Honor killing, killing somebody. It's absurd, killing somebody to preserve the honor of the family or something. You know, like it's usually men who feel like they have the right to protect the family name and their family. So if a female member of the family has been sexually abused, to preserve the honor of the family, you kill the person. Wow. If there is a possibility that the person would be sexually abused, like in this case now, selling the female members of the family into slavery or forced marriage is a disgrace to the family, and the best way to stop that insult is by killing them. I mean, it's crazy. It's something the world should have gone past.
And this
is still here.
Is it legally accepted? Is it like a tradition, or
it's more of a tradition? Whether it's legally accepted now, given how far the world has moved with modern legal system, I can't say for sure what the Indian legal system says about that. But of course, in time past, it was accepted as part of their tradition. One thing with some of this tradition is that people hold on to tradition even when they seem not to serve any good. Even here in our country, you still see some people starting and say, oh, let's go back to our tradition, even when some of those traditions you want to go back to are obviously outdated. So this is one of those many outdated tradition, tragic tradition that has no place in the 21st century. Unfortunately, it's still here, far away from us, but still a reality in a place like India. And I think that's one of the few places where that culture, even though there was an attempt while I was studying at it, there was an attempt for somebody to link such practice with northern Nigeria, citing an instance, but I don't think it's pronounced. The case they used may not necessarily be an honor killing, but it's a terrible culture.
So, but killing, I want to believe that killing someone is an offense, or is it not an offense in India?
It should be, given the universality of
you kill someone to keep the person's honor, or to protect the family's honor or lineage, killing is killing too. I want to believe there's a penalty for the people that people that killed their family members.
Well, if the police have arrested the person, in spite of the fact that it's suggested to be an honor killing, it suggests that there will be some measures of investigation and possibly somebody will be found culpable. Like I said earlier, I don't really know what the legal system says, and it depends on what is presented before the court in India. But one thing I can say for sure is that it is inhuman to have this culture, honor killing. You don't kill anybody to preserve your honor, for crying out loud. If you think your honor has been abused, you go die, not another person. You can't kill somebody to preserve your honor or preserve the person's honor. That's for me, that's like a doctor who cures by killing. You don't cure a person by killing the person. It defeats the whole essence of killing. And what honor does a person who has suffered such tragic deaths have? Possibly the honor is just for the male members of the... I mean, it's not something that should be seen in the 21st century at all.
Thank you very much for your contribution. So, Thank you so much, sir, for gracing our show today. It's such an honor to have you. So this is where we wrap it up on today's show, Society Watch. We are open for advert placements, news and events coverage, personality, society and political interviews, product, service and promotion and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, and also watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.